The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday webinar. We've got lots of people on the call today, so let's get started. Welcome to the Benefits Trust. On behalf of all of us here at the Benefits Trust, we'd like to extend a very warm and exciting welcome. Looking at the list of attendees, we've got many people here from Southern Ontario, and we're going to get our first blast of winter today, so let's get through this real quick so we can get to our day so the weather doesn't affect us too much. An exciting day today. We're going to talk about selling benefits to 1 and 2 life cases. And we're going to talk about selling benefits to those 1 and 2 life cases, and we're going to talk about how to do it profitably. So first, a little bit of housekeeping. The Benefits Trust was established on January 1st, 1994, close to 25 years ago. We are a full-service third-party benefit administration company. We work directly with brokers like yourselves. We do not sell direct. So we are excited about the last 25 years that we've been in business, and we're more excited about the next 25 years. For those of you that we do business with, thank you very much for your continued business and attending today. And for those of you that we don't do business with, we encourage you to check us out at thebenefitstrust.com. Lots of information on that website. Feel free to use as much of that information as you want. In addition to that, today, by attending today's webinar, you will be signed up for our Trusted Advisor newsletter if you are not already. And those of you that are, you will continue to receive it on a monthly basis. As well as that, at the end of the seminar today, or the webinar, pardon me, today, you will be receiving a very short survey. Please fill it out and please get it back to us. We look at that stuff intently, and because we always want to improve on what it is that we're doing in future webinars. As well as that, there's a very small section that you can fill out a subject matter that you'd like to see covered in future webinars, and we'd be happy to do so because we want to make this of value to you. So let's get started here. The best part about webinars, in my opinion, is you can do them from the comfort of your office, your home. I know it's a little bit cold right now, but we've had people that have logged in from the docks of their cottages. But the best part about webinars is you get to miss the traffic. You don't have to sit in traffic to get to our office or to get to a meeting room at a hotel to hear what we're going to have to say. You get to sit in your office. But nonetheless, you are going to spend close to an hour with us, as well as so you will get your CE credit at the end of this webinar as well. But you are going to spend an hour with us. So we want to make that time valuable to you. So we want to take this opportunity again to thank you very much for attending, and we again want to make this idea valuable to you. So what we want to do during this webinar as well is we'd like to share some ideas, thoughts, and sales stories with you. I love to tell stories, and we want to share some of these ideas with you. And if you get a great idea, write it down. And if you can get one good idea out of this webinar today, I think it's been time well spent. So write down your ideas. We're available to talk to you about those afterwards, to take that little nugget of information that makes sense in your mind, and talk to us about it afterwards, and we can help you fertilize that idea, if you would. My name is Robert Crowder. I'm the president and founder of the Benefits Trust. I'm the guy on the right. That's the voice you're going to hear for a lot of today. And on the left is Mike Ignatz. Mike is going to be our moderator today. So if you have any questions, just type them in the question box, and we'll either answer them throughout the presentation, or Mike will answer them directly, and he'll be chiming in from time to time. So say hello, Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
So there we go. Those are the two faces to the voices that you're going to hear today. A little bit about myself. I've been a licensed life insurance agent for 29 years now, 29 years now, and started the Benefits Trust some 25 years ago. So this is all we do. We do not do anything else other than have fun. This is what we do. Is the Benefits Trust is a full-service third-party benefit administration program or company that sells our services through brokers like yourself. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about delivering the 1 or 2 case profitably. Oftentimes, and it's interesting, you'll be at a meeting, you'll be at a volunteer meeting you might be attending, you'll be at a hockey rink with your kids, you'll be on a chairlift, you'll be on the golf course, you'll be sitting around at a cocktail party or something, and inevitably somebody says, "Hey, geez, can you help me out with my benefits?" And it may not be something that you do, but you feel obligated that you have to do it because it's somebody that you've met, or it's a client that's referred you to somebody else. And how do you deliver that 1 or 2 case profitably? And that's what we're here to talk about today. And yes, we are talking about employee benefits. We figured out a way to do this. It works extraordinarily well. The feedback that we get from brokers like yourself is phenomenal, and it just works and works extraordinarily well. And yes, we're talking about employee benefits. Our goals and objectives for the next 1 hour, or as I like to say, the next CE credit that you're going to get, our goals and objectives are quite simple. We want to talk about what an employee benefit plan is, because I think it's important to set the stage in your mind. So for your mindset, what an employee benefit plan is, what different components make up an employee benefit plan, what plans are available, how to determine what plan works best for your particular clients. One of my favorite things is, of course, dealing with objections, and having literally thousands of transactions in this area. Dealing with objections is something that we can certainly talk about, and we're going to deal with a few different objections here. But if you've got other ones that you hear frequently, either send us an email or give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk to you about them as well, because I'm sure we've heard them. We want to overview two very distinct solutions that we've got that are terrific, in my opinion, and the feedback we get from our clients is also terrific, and the end user clients that we deal with is also terrific. So we want to talk about those two solutions, and we want to show you two case studies that we're going to overview that will hopefully illustrate what it is that we're talking about today. The market context. Groups of one or two or more for that matter. This is just one of the things we do here at the Benefits Trust. Our bread and butter, our daily activity, as you would, is dealing with groups from 3 to 103 employees, but we've got quite a practice going with, again, these groups of one or two. But so the market context today and the webinar context is we're just talking about these micro groups, if you would. So it's groups of 1 or 2 for that matter. What's important in these groups is they've got to have T4 earnings. They've got to have that employer-employee relationship. They've got to have that T4 earnings. They've got to be profitable, because this doesn't really work that well for unprofitable businesses or business owners, people that are looking to make their next sale so they can buy some food or pay their mortgage payments. So they're really profitable businesses. Ideally, you like to see them, and where it makes the most sense is when they're in the 50% tax bracket, however they define that. We know some people aren't in the 50% tax bracket, but they certainly make a lot of money, and they're using different tax strategies to minimize their tax. But businesses that are profitable, business is good and they mean it. They're not looking again for their next paycheck or their next sale to cover off their heating bill. So that's the market context we're talking about. We're talking about the people that are what's the word I'm looking for? That are in business, and business is good, and they're going to be in business tomorrow. Simple as that. So the question is, when you meet somebody like this at a party, when you meet somebody like this at your golf club or the charity that you volunteer for, the question is, how do you deliver these employee benefit plans profitably for that one person group? You know, it's interesting. There's a number of different products that are available out there, some online, some at Costco for that matter. It's interesting. You could buy benefits at Costco as well as tires and a case of motor oil. But how do you do it, and how do you do it profitably so you make money? And the answer is quite simple. Well, you got to get to yes or no in 10 minutes or less, and you've got to maximize the amount of premium going into the case. It's not about necessarily the cheapest you can buy this. This is really a kind of a different, it's kind of a little bit different. It's about getting to yes or no real quick, and it's maximizing the premium, which therefore maximizes your commission. So you want to be able to talk to people and saying, hey, you're not spending enough on benefits. We want to show you a way to spend more. This is about people that want to maximize the amount that they're paying for their benefit plan because of the value that they're getting from it. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. It's sort of a shift in mindset, but as we go through this, I think it'll make sense in your mind. So what is an employee benefit plan? It's interesting. This is a question that I ask in just about all the webinars that we do, and many of the presentations that we make. I sort of work this in because it was a big moment that I had about 10 years ago when I was in a meeting with a broker and an end user client, and we were chatting, and the meeting wasn't going well. It was sort of disjointed. It was all over the place, and the client was getting frustrated. The broker was getting frustrated, and I sort of stopped the meeting at that time and I said, hold on a second here. This meeting is going off the rails. We want to make it of value to everybody that's here, or we'll just end the meeting. But I said, hold on a second, Mr. Prospect. In your opinion, what is an employee benefit plan? And, he sort of answered what he thought an employee benefit plan was. And I said, no, stop for a moment. An employee benefit plan is nothing more than a promise between an employer and an employee. It's a promise between an employer and an employee. And at that point in time, all of a sudden the light went off in his head and his body language changed significantly. And you could see the tension leave his body from the frustration that this meeting was making him have. And all of a sudden, this light went off and all of his body language changed, and he was excited about the future of this meeting because he goes, promise, I'm an entrepreneur. I own this business. I can promise anything I want. So when we talk about benefit plans, and we talk about benefit plans being a promise between an employer and an employee, and I use this terminology an awful lot, and it's interesting when you're in a meeting and you use that terminology, all of a sudden you see lights go off in people's heads and body language changing. But it's really a promise between an employer and an employee and a group of employees. And when we're talking about that small micro business, that person that's got one employee or two employees, or it's just themselves, that, they are the employee. It's important to understand when you're describing a benefit solution to these people that they're wearing two hats. They're wearing two hats. Some of the decisions they make are employer decisions, and some of the decisions they make are employee decisions. So it's important to distinguish between the two. So when you're talking about incorporating your business or dealing with your incorporated business and so on, you're making decisions based on an employer. And when you're providing a service to that corporation, you're making a decision based on as an employee. So often the hats get blended, but it's important to show the way that, or to, in the client's mind eye, they understand that there's a difference between the employer and the employee, even though they are the same person and it is one entity. So when we're talking about an employee benefit program, the business or the corporation, the employer, is making a promise to the employee in the organization. Yes, they are one of the same, but the employer is making a promise to the employee. That promise often consists of three components. And this is true whether it's an employee benefit plan for one employee, 100 employees, 1,000 employees, or 10,000 employees. The benefit plan often consists of three components: insurance, reimbursement, and administration. Insurance, in the grandest sense, is there to protect people and things from catastrophic, sudden, unexpected events. Insurance 101, it's there to protect people against catastrophic, sudden, unexpected events. So when we're talking about an employee benefit promise, it's there to protect against catastrophic, sudden, unexpected events. Reimbursement, it's reimbursement of routine expenses, and administration is just keeping the promise on side from a Revenue Canada perspective, from a provincial government perspective. It's keeping the promise from an administrative perspective. So let's talk about those three different components in a little bit more detail. Because the group has one or two employees, or one employee more specifically, the amount of insurance that we can offer through our offering is somewhat limited. Obviously, we can't, or maybe not obviously, but we cannot offer group life insurance because we don't have enough people to spread the risk. We can't offer $100,000 with an NEM of $100,000 of group life insurance because it just doesn't work for this size group. But the insurance that we can offer is out-of-country emergency medical coverage for out-of-country emergency medical expenses. And we can also offer stop-loss or large amount pooling for large in-Canada drug claims in excess of $5,000. So that's the insurance that we can offer. So again, the black hat is making the pink hat a promise that says, hey, thanks for being the best employee that you are. And if you have an out-of-country emergency medical expense, we got your back. And if you have, or your family has, a need for a catastrophic drug that is defined as anything over $5,000, yep, we got your back as well. So that's the insurance protection that is put in place to protect against catastrophic, sudden, unexpected events. The second component that makes up this employee benefit promise is one of routine reimbursement of routine health and dental expenses. Keyword there is routine. What is routine? Well, routine is whatever, first of all, the employer decides that they want to offer, but routine is whatever CRA eligible expense your client has. You know, Mike and I are both considered family as defined by a benefit plan, but Mike's definition of routine and my definition of routine are very different. Mike's got young kids, I've got old kids, and so everybody's definition of routine is different. Some of those routine expenses that might be incurred in an employee benefit program are things like prescription drugs, basic or major dental, registered massage therapy, physiotherapy, athletic therapy, laser eye surgery, dental implants. I was just speaking with a gentleman last week, and he's got 2 dental implants that he is getting done. He is, I think 38 or 39 years old, and he's getting 2 dental implants that are being done in his mouth because of an accident he had, and he didn't have benefits. And those dental implants are going to cost him $9,000. Orthodontia, whether it be for your children or for or adult orthodontia. This is another one that's great. Private school tuition or tutoring for dependents with learning disabilities. We are seeing claims that are in the $40,000 and $50,000 range because children with learning disabilities or special needs are going to private schools that focus on their special needs and help them learn in a positive environment. And those private school tuitions and tutoring can be reimbursed through a benefit program. So all sorts of different definitions of routine, but all of these expenses can be reimbursed through an employee benefit program. So the employer, again, is making the employee a promise that says, hey, we're going to cover you for all your prescription drugs, all of your dental, all of your orthodontia, and we're going to cover you for rehabilitation in a substance abuse program for your spouse or your child, or we're going to cover you for private school tuition, etc. So all eligible expenses. Third component that makes up an employee benefit promise or an employee benefit plan is administration. And there are a number of things that have to happen for an employee benefit program. You've got to document the promise that's made. You've got to communicate that promise that's made. So you've got to document it. You've got to provide a benefit plan document. You've got to provide booklets. You've got to adjudicate the claim. You've got to remit the appropriate taxes to both the federal and provincial government. You've got to pay commissions to the advisor, you. We've got to provide ongoing service. We've got to provide financial statements on a monthly basis to both the broker and the end user client. So there are a lot of things that happen. And again, these things have to happen whether the benefit plan has 1 employee, 10 employees, 100 employees, or 1,000 employees. So these types of things have to happen because it's a business that's buying a benefit plan for an employee. Simple as that. So remember, and this is the most important thing in this particular type of a benefit plan, remember this plan, as well as all benefit plans, are a fully tax-deductible business expense. So an employee benefit plan is a fully tax-deductible business expense. So the cost of the insurance, the cost of whatever the claims are for that reimbursement, the cost of all of the administration expenses and taxes, all of that is a fully tax-deductible business expense. So the black hat gets a tax-deductible business expense, and the benefits are received by the pink hat in this case as a tax-free benefit, one of the few that are left. So it's important to take advantage of that. So as a result of that, profitable business owners, the ones that we were talking about right out of the gate, those profitable business owners that are got T4 earnings that are in the 50% tax bracket, they've got their world figured out. They know how to polish their widgets. They know they're going to be in business tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. Profitable business owners, when they understand this, that it's a fully tax-deductible business expense, they want all of their expenses covered by an employee benefit program because it's a tax-deductible benefit and they receive the benefits tax-free. So profitable business owners don't care on what it is that they spend. They just want to make sure that everything's spent. Quite frankly, if my wife needs new glasses, she's going to get new glasses. If my son needs new glasses to look at the computer while he's at school, he's going to get new glasses. If my wife wants orthodontia because she's got a jaw problem, she's going to get it. It's just a question of what's the most tax-effective way to pay for those benefits. Simple as that. So a lot of times when we're dealing with brokers, they're dealing with clients that say, I just want everything covered. I don't care what it costs. I just want this problem to go away. I just want to touch the thing once. I want it to go away. So we've got a lot of clients that we deal with. They just want everything covered. They're sick and tired of having these benefit plans that they buy off the shelf at Costco or they buy off the internet or somebody puts in front of them and they go, I don't understand this. I pay a premium every single month and then I submit a claim and it's not covered or it's only covered at 50% or it's maxed out at $500. They just want everything covered. We also have clients that say, hey, great, you know what? I just want to make sure that this particular expense is covered or these particular expenses are covered. And they know they've got a big expense coming up. They've got, like, for example, that gentleman that I was talking about with the 2 dental implants. He's saying, I just want to find a way to get these two expenses covered. So what is the best solution? Well, is it defined benefit or defined contribution? No, hold on a second. We're talking about benefits here. We're not talking about pensions. We're talking about benefits. Defined benefit or defined contribution. When we think about it from a benefit perspective, what we're saying here is the benefit plan is 100% defined. It's a defined benefit plan. We're saying, hey, the black hat, if you would, is saying to the pink hat, as a condition of your employment here at ABC Inc., we are going to give you a benefit plan that covers you for 100% of all of your CRA expenses, all your health, all your dental, all your drugs, all your out-of-country emergency expenses, should you have them, or your children and wife have them, or spouse has them. And if you have any drugs that exceed $5,000 in a benefit year, we got your back as well. So that's a defined benefit plan. Just like in a pension scenario, the benefit is defined, but what is not defined is the cost. We don't know what this is going to cost. So what we do is work with you and the end user client. We set an annual estimated budget based on what they think their claims would be. If they think their claims are going to be $10,000, we set a budget around that $10,000 range. The contributions are made on a monthly basis. The contributions are made on a monthly basis based on a billing statement that we provide. So let's just assume, for ease of math, that the family's expenses are going to be $12,000. Great. We're going to set the rates probably about $500 for health and $500 for dental. Terrific. We're getting $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. We're going to send the client monthly financial statements, and we're going to send you, the broker, monthly financial statements, and they're either going to have a positive or they're going to have a negative balance. It's as simple as that. They don't often spend or never spend exactly what their budget is in that particular month, so their balance is zero. We just know that they're going to spend roughly $12,000 a year. We set rates based on that. We send a bill to them. They pay it. We send the monthly financial statements that says what their positive or negative balance is, and that happens every single month. And at the end of 12 months, the client is either in a surplus position or they're in a deficit position. If they're in a surplus position, we go, that's great. If they're in a deficit position, we go, that's great. And then we reestablish the budget on an annual basis. So if you've got somebody that's got a big expense one year, they might be setting their budget high, and then next year they might be setting their budget a little bit lower because that expense has been taken care of. What this is quite simply, it's a one-person budgeted ASO plan. It's as simple as that, but it covers all CRA defined expenses, no limits, no co-insurances, no maximums. We estimate the budget, and if we're off, well, so be it, but it's a budgeted ASO plan. Simple as that. The other side of the equation is the defined contribution plan. Just like in a pension plan, that what is known as the contribution is defined, but the amount someone's going to claim is not. So what we do is we set up a healthcare spending account for routine expenses. That healthcare spending account amount is defined. And we also add the emergency out-of-country coverage and the stop loss for any claims in excess of $5,000. So what's key here is the plan sponsor decides on how much money they want to throw in the bucket for the employee. The black hat decides how much goes in for the pink hat. So we're saying, hey, great, I want these or those expenses covered. So the plan sponsor is going to say, hey, great, I want to put $12,000, using that previous example, into your healthcare spending account. We're going to put in $1,000 a month into that healthcare spending account, $12,000 a year. The individual employee then, the pink hat, can make withdrawals from that bucket on an ongoing basis based on what their family needs are when they have the expense. One of the things that makes us unique, and we can talk more about this offline if you've got more questions about it, but one of the things that makes us unique at the Benefits Trust is the plan is contributed to on a monthly basis, and it's adjudicated on an annualized basis. So it's funded on a monthly basis and adjudicated on an annualized basis. And that makes us very unique. So for example, if the first month the plan is started and they've got a $12,000 healthcare spending account and the client puts in, for example, $1,000, and halfway through the first month they make a claim for $3,000, we would be sending them a check for the full $3,000 so they wouldn't have to wait another month or two or three until there was enough money in the pot to pay for that expense. Key thing on a healthcare spending account, as well as any unused account balances, can be carried forward to the next benefit year. So the best part about this type of plan, or the difference between this type of plan versus a defined benefit plan, is the cost on this plan is known. The amount that the pink hat is going to claim is really unknown. But once they hit that maximum of $12,000, then they're reaching into their pocket for expenses over and above that. So we set the premiums for this, or the contributions for this, and it's very simple. You take the cost of the insurance, you add in 1/12 of the annual healthcare spending account amount plus the appropriate taxes and administration, and that's their monthly contribution. It's as simple as that. You can claim up to the annual healthcare spending account, but then after that, you've got to reach into your pocket. So often we get a question, hold on a second, why would you have $10 or $15 or $30,000 in a healthcare spending account when you've got a stop loss of $5,000, Mike? Why would people do that?
Simply because a lot of the larger expenses aren't necessarily eligible for stop loss insurance.
So give me an example of some of those expenses that wouldn't be eligible for stop loss insurance.
Well, for example, I have a bad back, and quite often the physiotherapy and massage therapy can contribute $3,000-$4,000 in a benefit year, and that is not going to go toward the deductible for stop loss.
So thank you. That's a great answer, Mike. So the stop loss deductible is just based on drug utilization. So if as Mike was saying, if he's got $3,000 in physiotherapy expenses, or I've got $3,000 in vision care expenses because my wife buys a new pair of glasses with every outfit she owns, or I've got $15,000 in major dental expenses, that doesn't contribute to the deductible of the large amount pooling or the stop loss. That is specifically on drugs. So it comes to the question of what is the best benefit plan for each, or for your clients? What is the best benefit plan for your clients? Is it the defined benefit plan? Is it the defined contribution plan? And the answer is really your client's needs drive the direction in which you should go. So here's a couple of quick case studies that we can talk about. Here's a doctor with a private practice. They've got a spouse and they've got 3 children. They've got a very rough idea of what their expenses are. And this particular doctor just wants everything covered. They don't want to have to think about it or talk about it. They want to focus on their practice. They want to focus on their life with their spouse and their children. Excuse me, I'm just getting a glass of water there. They just want to make sure that everything is covered. So the solution was quite simple. We're going to set up the executive benefit plan, and the budget was set at $15,000, leaving $12,750 to pay claims based on the rough estimate. If claims are less than $12,750, they're going to have a surplus in their account, and if they're more than $12,750, they're going to have a budget. They're going to have a deficit in their account. So it's as simple as that. Excuse me. The client sets the budget, and if their claims are more, they've got a deficit. If they're less, they've got a surplus. More importantly than that, it was set up that the $15,000 budget divided by 12 months is $1,250 a month. The 15% admin fees are built into the monthly rate plus the premium for insurance. It's just as straightforward as that. The result is, in this particular case, the client knows that all of their routine expenses are covered at 100%, and they have accepted the financial responsibility if their claims are more than what was budgeted for. The client knows that him and his family are protected against certain catastrophic events. They travel a fair amount. They're protected for out-of-country emergency travel coverage. It's a pure group product, and it works well. They get a drug card with their benefit plan, or they get a couple of drug cards with their benefit plan. They get a booklet. They get a plan document, etc. The decision was made in 10 minutes. This is exactly what the client wanted. It wasn't, choose A, B, or C. It was, you want all of your expenses covered? Yes or no? Terrific. Great. Here's a drug card, etc. And the best part about this is this broker has a new wealthy client that the broker can sell other additional goods and services to, other products to. So in 10 minutes, the client or the broker has a new client, and he is a trusted advisor, has a new client, and he's taking roughly $15,000 from this client on an annual basis. Terrific. Case study number 2, a little bit different. There was a U.S. company just hired their first Canadian employee. We get this occasionally, but it's not that often, but it's not uncommon. The U.S. company has just hired its first Canadian employee. The employee, as part of their compensation arrangement, has a $7,500 budget to spend on benefits because they're the only Canadian employee there. In this particular case, great, the employee had arranged to have $7,500 built into their compensation for budget. And the employee's spouse has a fairly limited plan, or a fairly traditional, straightforward type of employee benefit program. So it becomes great. What's the best way to spend this $7,500? Well, in this particular case, it was decided that the best way to spend this $7,500 was to set a healthcare spending account at $6,000. They had a couple kids, and one of the kids needed braces. The conventional, traditional plan that the spouse had didn't cover any orthodontia. So the healthcare spending account was set up at a $6,000 amount to cover the child's orthodontia. $6,000, the admin is set at 15%, which includes your commissions, $75 a month, $900 a year. It's as simple as that. The insurance was $37.10 a month, and this is, I think, a little bit out of date. I think so the insurance is a little bit more than that, or $445 a year. So the total amount, that $900 a month plus the $37.10 a month worked out to $7,345.20 a year plus taxes. So just a little tiny bit more than what the actual budget was. We made a presentation, or the broker made a presentation to this particular client. It was worked out in such a fashion that they had the costing sheet right in front of them. The in this particular case, the first Canadian employee sent the page to the human, or sent the budget page to the Human Resources Department. Human Resources Department asked a couple of questions. The U.S. Human Resources Department asked a couple of questions and said yes. They said, this is great. Yeah, we're good with this. So it's a little bit more than the $7,500. The client knows exactly what their annual costs are for their Canadian employee benefit plan. They know exactly what their costs are. They're not going to go up. They're not going to go down. They know exactly what they are. The member's happy because in this case, they've got $6,000 to pay for orthodontic expenses not covered under the spouse's plan. And the client, or the broker, has a new client. Simple as that. The decision was really made in 10 minutes. It was just something on that new Canadian employee's checklist that they wanted to take care of, and they wanted to get the most value for their money. The broker asked a couple of questions and presented this, and this was all done in a matter of moments. And then the U.S. Human Resources Department said yes in 10 minutes. So really, the question is, what plan fits where? And the answer is, the client's needs drive the direction and decision. The client's needs drive the direction and the decisions. So in the doctor's case, I just want everything covered. I want it taken care of. I don't care what it costs. Great. The other one's saying, I've got a $6,000 budget or a $7,500 budget. What's the best way to spend this to maximize the value for our family's requirements? My spouse has a plan. Great. This is for orthodontia. Terrific. Great way to go. It's the most value for the dollar. So the client's needs drive the direction and decisions. From the executive benefits perspective, the first plan, the client just wants everything covered. They want to pay for things that they're going to buy anyway in just a more tax-effective manner. Another way that we've used these executive plans is with groups with multiple owners. They just want everything covered, and they'll sort out the cost sharing internally at year end. I was just looking at a report this morning on one of our clients, and I've got a telephone call with them this afternoon, and the broker this afternoon, and it's just a three-way call. We're not even going out to do the renewal. But both of these particular owners of this company have the executive plan. Instead of, they've got one black hat and two pink hats in this case. But it's interesting because they've got this 100% plan. And actually, I've got the file right here in front of me. And one of the clients, one of the owners has spent, here it is. One of the owners has spent $2,382.92. And the other owner has spent $7,421.33. So we're talking about setting their budget. We're giving them that information. We're not talking about what person spent what person spent. What do they spend it on? We're just telling them about the dollars that they spent. It's a tax-deductible business expense to the company, so their $9,500 or whatever they spent is a tax-deductible business expense, and they're going to figure out the cost sharing internally amongst themselves. So people that just want everything covered, the executive benefit plan works well. It comes with the out of country, it comes with the stop loss. In addition to that, it comes with a drug card. The healthcare spending account plus plan works well for clients that have a very fixed budget. They may have spousal coverage. groups with multiple owners that want to offer just the same amount to everybody. They just want to say, hey, great, everybody gets $5,000 or everybody gets $15,000 each. Depends on what they want. Or individual employees that the client has a fixed budget for. So in this particular example that we used, the U.S. company had a very fixed budget. They said $7,500, and off we went. So healthcare spending accounts can work extraordinarily well. In this case, you set up a healthcare spending account plan plus a healthcare spending account plus plan. It's got the out-of-country emergency coverage, excuse me, and it also has the stop loss coverage as well. So there's some protection built in. What this does not have is the drug card, but we've got great ways to expedite drug or claim processing, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So regardless of the type of plan, whether it's that defined benefit or defined contribution or that executive benefit plan or the healthcare spending account plan, there's insurance in place, there's reimbursement in place, and there's administration in place. It's a benefit plan. The employer-employee relationship is alive and well. Again, that black hat and that pink hat. The employer is making a promise to the employee that says, terrific, we're going to give you this benefit plan that covers 100% of your expenses up to either this maximum or it covers 100% of your expenses up to no maximum. We just have to take the financial risk. They've got the employee actually has T4 earnings. They don't necessarily have to be $100,000 or $500,000. They just have to have T4 earnings. So they are an employee. So they have that employee-employer relationship. And really, this works well for businesses that are profitable because they're in that 50% tax bracket ultimately. And they understand that this is just a tax play, a tax-effective way to pay for things that they're going to pay for anyway, in addition to the insurance protection that's in place. We're the Benefits Trust. We provide all the administration for both of these. We answer the phone. That's something that makes us unique, I think, in a lot of cases. We answer the phone. We've got drug card capabilities that are prepared in our office. We've got online capabilities, email, of course, capabilities. Yeah, believe it or not, we have email. We've got a claim app on your smartphone so you can take a picture of your claim at the point of purchase. So, for example, as Mike walks into hobbles into the physiotherapy office and then walks out of the physiotherapy office and pays his $90 or $80 or $65, whatever the claim is, he can actually just take a picture of the claim and press submit, and it'll be adjudicated and deposited into his bank account right away. Provide flexibility to cover those things that you want to have covered. We pay commissions to you on a monthly basis. It just works. This is a full-service third-party administration solution. Again, our claim app is very, very popular. We've got close to 10,000 people using this now, which is exciting. It's a simple, very simple, straightforward app. And you take a picture of your claim. After you register for your claim, you take a picture of it, you press submit, and it's done. You can also check your HSA balance on your smartphone as well. What I'd like to say is the Benefits Trust provides superior service that will strengthen your relationship with your top clients, not compromise it. It's interesting. This is, as I like to say, this is where you want to look for the best provider, not the lowest cost provider. This is not a race to the bottom. This is not a race to the bottom. You don't want to introduce your best clients that are writing checks for $15,000 and $30,000 a year, to someone that is looking for the cheapest solution, or you want to put in front of them the cheapest solution because you think it's their job. You want to put in front of them the right solution. You want to put in front of them the best service. It's like going to Harbor 60 before a Leaf game down on Harbor Street in Toronto and buying a $70 steak and a $100 bottle of wine. And you're there with the client and you're saying, great, let's have this terrific steak each and let's split this bottle of wine. But hold on a second, I'll be right back, because we actually are in the section where we don't have a waiter. Yeah, we don't have a waiter or waitress serving us, so I got to go back to the kitchen and get it. I'll be right back. That's what we're talking about here. You want to provide someone that's got the superior service, that takes care of the documentation, remits the taxes on time. Everything's going to be taken care of. 25 years of history and 25 years of serving thousands of clients. That's what I think you want to provide your best clients, not the race to the bottom. The pitch is quite simple. The pitch is very simple. Mr. Client, if I could show you a way, so all of a sudden you're at that cocktail party. I'll come back to this in a moment. You're at that cocktail party. You're on the golf course. You're, at the volunteer meeting that you're at, and you're standing around afterwards having a sandwich or whatever the circumstances are. Somebody says, hey, you're in the benefit business and can you help me out? I'm a doctor, or I'm a sole practitioner with an incorporated company, and geez, I just need some benefits because I got some expenses coming up. And then the pitch is, if I could show you a way to pay for the things that you're going to buy anyway in a more in the most tax effective way possible, while adding valuable protection, is that of interest to you? And that person's going to say yes. That person's going to say yes. And you go, terrific. Is there a time that we can meet that's convenient? Is next Thursday at 10 o'clock good? Oh, or can we spend an hour or 10 minutes together on the phone, or 15 minutes together on the phone? I need your undivided attention for 10 minutes while we can set up a meeting on the phone, and you need to be in front of your computer. Terrific. You mean you don't have to come and see me on this? Nope. We can do it over the phone. Fabulous. It's as simple as that. So the objections. Well, why don't I just claim this on my taxes? Why don't I just claim these expenses on my taxes? Well, you can, but the tax credit, the medical tax credit you get is very, very small, and the amount compared to having it 100% deductible it's significant. So you can claim it on your taxes, but you can claim a very little bit.
Although, Rob, to be fair, that is actually an objection that works in many cases because they are not in the top tax bracket and they have $1,500 in expenses. In those cases, there is no tax benefit to setting up a plan like this. That's why you have to vet these clients.
That's why you got to vet these clients. Exactly. That's a great point, Mike. If they got $900 in expenses and they're only making $27,000 a year, yeah, they can claim it on their taxes. If they're in that 50% tax bracket and they're in business and they're profitable, this is a way better solution than putting it on their taxes. And one of my other favorite objections is my spouse has a plan. He's a teacher or she's a teacher, or he or she works for Hydro, or they're, rollerblading coaches or whatever it is that they do. And they got a plan and it's decent enough. Decent enough? What the hell does enough mean? Right? You're talking about saving taxes. Yeah, you might have some protection with your spouse's plan, but anytime you reach into your pocket and pay for things with 50-cent dollars, that's not enough. You want to make sure that all of your expenses are covered through a benefit program. And it's interesting. One of the things that I had this conversation yesterday with a broker who's going to present this plan to a client. Their spouse has a plan. They want to use their spouse's plan first. They have other expenses totaling about $8,000 or $9,000 a year. They have their spouse's plan that they want to use first, and then these expenses, these $8,000 or $9,000 that aren't covered under their spouse's plan, they want covered under a benefit plan. So in this particular case, what we did is we set up they were suggesting that the client set up a healthcare spending account for $9,000 or $10,000. So there was some buffer zone in there. And a healthcare spending account, by definition, uses the spouse's plan first, and the healthcare spending account is the last payer. So they had expenses that they wanted to have covered. They wanted to use the spouse's plan first. Terrific. And then the expenses over and above that are covered by the healthcare spending account. The other thing is, well, I get this, and I've got this need for orthodontia this year, but what if my needs change over time? I don't want to set up a plan and then have it cost me a whole pile of money. Well, with both of these plans, whether it be the healthcare spending account or the executive benefit plan, you set the budget on an annual basis, and that budget changes as needs change because the client sets the budget, not us. The only premiums included in this benefit plan is that less than $50 a month if you're a family person for that insurance protection for the stop loss and the out-of-country emergency travel coverage. Another one that we don't have here, but they go, I don't need the out-of-country emergency travel coverage. I've got travel coverage through my credit card. Well, you might as well take that paper that the credit card travel insurance is written on. You might as well roll it up and use it to start your fire with in your backyard, because that coverage is pretty useless. The out-of-country coverage that we have is a full group insurance coverage that we're able to offer through Berkeley, Canada. It's comprehensive coverage. It covers you for 60 days while you're out of the country for all your catastrophic needs. And we can tell you more, we can give you more information about that. So there's lots of objections, but these are the three big ones, and they're certainly easy to overcome. So as I like to say, it's about delivering the one case profitably. It's by showing them a better, more tax advantage solution than what's available off the shelf. And as I like to say, show your clients true value in the solutions that you're delivering them. Right? The other thing is these products are unbelievable door openers. They're unbelievable door openers. You can get in front of somebody really quick. You can get in front of somebody. You can show them value. Why wouldn't they buy this? If they meet that profile where they're in that 50% tax bracket, they've got high T4 earnings, they're the employer, they're the decision maker. This is a terrific door opener. For the out-of-country coverage alone, because they're going to travel. The out-of-country coverage alone is the group out-of-country coverage alone is the best door opener that there is. The stop loss that they can't buy on the street is a great door opener. These products are great door openers. And after that, you can sell them other products and you can also get referrals. I know somebody that's relatively new in this business. They have linked on to this product. They are selling the stuff like gangbusters, not because they want to sell healthcare spending accounts and they want to sell products that have 5% commissions built in. They're selling this so they can sell them life insurance and they can sell them long-term disability insurance and they can sell them investment solutions and so on. Commissions are built in. They're 5% or whatever you can negotiate. I saw some emails floating around yesterday across my desk that somebody wanted a 10% commission, and we've got other people where they've got $75,000, $100,000 going into these accounts because of their clients' needs, and they're reducing their commissions, as are we reducing our fees to make it more palatable. But really, for the standard type of product that we're offering, there's a 5% commission built in. Again, this is not going to make you, it's not going to make you rich, but it's certainly going to hook your clients and put them in place. Years ago, I was reading an article, and I think it was put out by the Bank of Montreal, and they said if you sell a client, and their thesis was quite simple, they sell if you sell a client one service, you've got a 25% retention probability. And if you sell your clients two services, that 25% automatically goes up to 60% retention. And if you sell your client three services or more, all of a sudden your retention level goes up to 93% or something along those lines. This is just another hook you can get into that client. And sometimes you can land that client for life with one hook. Sometimes it takes a couple of hooks, but it's just a hook that's really easy to get in front of people with. You don't necessarily even have to get in front of them per se as physically in front of them. You and I are speaking right now, and we're communicating right now, and we're in separate offices. You can do this over the phone. You can do this over the internet. The information that we have on our website. You can take this information and you can put it in an email form. You can send it directly to clients. There's a fillable worksheet that they can fill out. It's amazing at how easy it is. But it's about maximizing the profit that you make on a one-person plan. So we've almost spent an hour together today. We thank you very much for your time. What we talked about what one-person benefit plans are available, whether it be defined benefit or defined contribution. We talked about the components of that plan and whether it's components of that plan include insurance, reimbursement, and administration. We talked about how to determine what plan works best for your clients and their needs drive the direction in which you should lead them to. And we talked about how to deal with objections. So it's been an exciting day. The question, that we talked about really is how do we deliver that one-person plan profitably? And the answer is you got to get to yes or no quickly. You've got to get to yes or no quickly, and you've got to change their mindset, and you've got to show them a way to spend lots of money on this stuff, not a little money on this stuff. You got to get to yes or no quickly and show them how to maximize the amount they put into their benefit plan to cover their needs. As I like to say, yes pays you, no teaches you, maybe kills you. Can you imagine going and seeing a one-person client where, they might be looking for a solution and all of a sudden you're going, hey, here's the Manulife, here's the Great West Life solution, here's the Manulife solution, here's the Green Shield solution, here's the Blue Cross solution. All of a sudden, no, if I could show you the way to pay for things that are going to be paid for, that you're going to pay for anyway in the most tax effective way possible, would that be of interest? Yes. Great. We've got a solution for you. So we want to encourage you to visit the Benefits Trust. We've got videos on one-person solutions that we've got in place. They're about 2 minutes and 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 50-second videos. So very short videos. You can use that. You can email those to your clients. We've got all the paperwork online, fillable forms online. So we encourage you to visit thebenefitstrust.com. Go to the Advisor Resource Center. There's a ton of tools that you can use that makes sense. In addition to that, something that we're really proud of, and we've got a lot of good response, is we can you can check out our website and get our free ebook, The Benefits, the Smart Employer or Smart Business Owner's Guide to Healthcare Spending Accounts. We want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time. We spent close to an hour together. We want to thank you very much for your time and wish you good selling. Again, the Benefits Trust is a full-service third-party benefit administration company. What we talked about today is delivering that 1 and 2 case profitably. This is just one of the things that we do. Our bread and butter is selling those 3 to 103 life cases on a budgeted ASO solution with all sorts of different plan designs. And in addition to that, one of the things that we do is keep promises that employers make to employees. We can do anything it is that you want that makes sense. Reach out to us. If you got some creative ideas, reach out to us and we'd be happy to talk to you about it. We wish you good selling. So on behalf of Mike Ignatz and all of us here at the Benefits Trust, we want to thank you very much for the time that we spent together and wish you great selling in the future. And again, don't forget, you're going to get your CE credits by email. Visit our website. And in addition to that, we're going to send you a very short survey and we'd love to hear back from you. Have a terrific day. Thanks for your time and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.